Okay, I'm looking for you. Hi, Jordan. Okay.
So I joined, and then you click on me, and then it says send request.
It's not doing anything when I click on you. Oh, I got a better one. There you go.
Okay, we're good?
It totally looks better on this IG live thing. I look like anonymous on the Zoom. Hey, everybody.
Yeah. Okay, so we can, if you want, we can wait a few minutes, like a minute or two for people to join.
All right.
And then, yeah, we'll take it from there. So for the people who are on the Zoom, don't mind Eric looking like Alcoholics Anonymous.
If anyone's interested in the Zoom,
I think you could just, you could just type in the comment, the
Yeah.
password, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, huh?
Yeah.
Let me,
Hi, Paula. I see her.
Did someone call my name?
No? I heard somebody.
Yeah, never mind. So, FYI, everybody, I'm doing this in my garage. My garage door's open, so there might be some interruptions.
All right. Okay. I think we can start right now. So
Yeah, let's go for it.
I'm gonna press record on the Zoom, and we can get started. All right. So hi everybody to whoever's watching this. We're on the second Instagram Artist Talk, and today our guest is Eric Ordorica. He is a graduate from UH Manoa. He is also a huge film buff and focused on digital imaging. He is 28 years old, and unfortunately, he did not get to show his BFA due to the current pandemic we are in. So we're going to get started and get to know Eric a little bit better. So let's start with where you're from, Eric.
All right. Hey, everybody. Oh, wait. Hold on, guys.
Sorry. No, you're fine.
Yeah. Ooh, the echo.
All right, again, interruptions. My bad.
You're good. We're good.
Where am I from? I'm from USA. And I was born in California. And I don't think a lot of people would know that, but yeah, I was born in California and I moved here to Oahu in 2000, or sorry, in 92. I was like 4 months old. And yeah, I've been living out here for a while, 28 years, pretty much my whole life.
Yeah. Awesome. And then we're going to go right into the art talk. So what had inspired you to create art?
I think a lot of things inspired me. I guess the first few people that inspired me would be my friend Vince and Vince Michael Scano. Yeah, he was the first one to show me like a camera and like what I could do. And we'd go out to like IKEA and shoot. And then Maxfield Terrell Smith, he was another one. He would show me his photographs from Japan, like from Flickr or something like that. And that was like, whoa. Photography teacher in high school. He almost failed me, but Gilbert Batongan. He, aka Gilly Hicks, he was a great teacher. And then I think another teacher I drew inspiration from was Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith.
Yeah, Joseph Smith. He was my sports medicine teacher when I was studying KRS. And then I think my work though now draws inspiration from my parents and like where they came from, all the photographs that they collected of the family, and any evidence of like their journey and my journey too, really. Yeah, I think those are most of my inspirations.
Perfect. And so when you decided to pursue art as a career, did you receive any support from your friends and family?
My friends, yeah, totally. They were the ones that were like, yeah, do it. Go for it. My parents at first were like, nah. Nah. I think like many immigrant families, they want you to be like doctor, nurse, lawyer, stuff like that. You hear it all the time. From culture to culture, it's like that. But I think not until I made it super clear that I was pretty devoted to this and I was pretty invested, then they were like emotionally there.
Yeah. Nice. And so what schools did you end up attending to? And double question, what major did you start with and end with?
Okay. Hold on just a second. I'm just gonna lower the volume down because I can hear myself hardcore. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty hard to do that.
No, you're good.
But I started with going to Leeward Community College, which is right down the road from my parents' house, right there. With no thought in my head, I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I went through liberal arts, got that, and then I decided I was gonna do sports medicine. So I did the KRS program at UH, University of Hawaii at Manoa, which is all here on island, Oahu, state of Hawaii. And yeah. And so I started doing that, and I met this one teacher. He didn't encourage me to drop out, but definitely his words did affect me to be like, yeah, I'm out of here. But not in a bad way. It's not like he was like, you suck at this. It was like more like, hey, go for it.
Yeah. No, definitely. Awesome.
So yeah, and I think a lot of his teachings, he was a Zen Buddhist priest. A Christian Zen Buddhist priest.
Wow.
And he was an athletic trainer for like UH Manoa. He's from San Francisco. He's a trip, but he was a really nice guy and taught me a lot. And I took a lot of that with me in my work and just life in general. And so I dropped out of school and I pursued photography on my own. I think that's when my friends were championing me, telling me like, yo, go shoot. All right, cool. So I bought a camera, bought another one. At that time, I was working like 3 different jobs. So it's just like, all right, let's do this, let's do that. Get me that phone, buy me that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's do this. And then a year or two later, I was like, I'm gonna go back to school. So I took a couple classes at a community college in town called Kapiolani Community College. And all these colleges are affiliated with the University of Hawaii. So they're all under the same system. So I took a couple classes, I excelled, probably the best I ever did in school, and I was like, all right, this is it. Doing art. I'm good at it, kind of. So I went with it. And then I think maybe for the Zoom, this is for Zoom purposes, but I'll show IG Live a little bit of what I did there at Kapiolani Community College, or wherever I went. But yeah, well, due to like the circumstances that we're under with the IG Live and Zoom, I can only present it to you guys like this. So for IG, you're just gonna have to look at it through my screen.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
We're working through it.
Yes, we are. Here it is. All right. Hey, IG Live. We're back on it. It's a little glary, but this is what I was working on. Probably this is one of a staple I made during that time. But this was a contact sheet that I made from 35 millimeter black and white film. And fun little thing, took me forever. But yeah, that's KCC work. And then when I finished up at KCC or whatever I could, because the classes were cheaper and I couldn't take any more classes there to like get a bachelor's, I went off to Manoa, and there I studied, and then I was asked to do a BFA, and I said yes, and then I kind of did it. No, I did it. I didn't kind of do it. I did it.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess I could share this with Zoom too.
Yeah, and then you can talk a little bit more about your experience in school and everything.
Okay. But yeah, I think school at UH and at KCC too, because a lot of that had a lot of overlap. A lot of the people I met at KCC also went to Manoa. So
Yeah.
big shout out to Shirley. She was a good friend of mine from KCC all the way through, and she's there still getting her bachelor's. She was also in the BFA with me. We made a lot of friends. A lot of us are still in contact, doing projects together. FYI, me and Brenda met at Manoa. You know, we got acquainted there and planning on doing stuff, and here we are doing it.
Yes.
But yeah, I think I ended it off with a BFA with a focus in photography. And if you don't know what a BFA is, it stands for Bachelor's in Fine Arts. So yeah, just a little information for you. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what opportunities did you get while you were in school?
In school, I think the best opportunity I had was being in an environment where I had peers and professors all working very hard for almost like the same goal. We're all trying to make art. We're all trying to learn. Even the professors were learning along the way from students. You know, we'd present work. They'd have to figure out what direction we're heading to and push us. Our peers were pushing us to go further in our work, challenge ourselves. And that's something hard to find, I think, in just a free world, because first you got to find those people, and that's not always easy, you know, that are really about it. And two, when you do find those people, it's okay, now you got to find the time to actually get together and have a critique and show work and make work, or have a place to make work, have these machines. Like when we got shut down, there was no machines. We had to go home and do digital work, which was fine, as you know, a lot of us can do digital work, but there's many of artists that don't do digital. It's all physical, you know. Ceramics, glass, painters, you know. My process is analog, digital, physical. Some people it's all physical throughout the whole way, and then you get the photographs of it so they can show it online and send it to people. But yeah, so I think the space, being able to have the space, the people, the environment, really, the tools to do everything was something very beneficial of me going to school. Because otherwise I have friends that don't go to school and they're learning exactly what I'm learning, and they're getting the tools from this like by themselves. They're working, saving up money to go get these computers or these scanners. Big shout out to Zach. I know he's watching this right now, and he's the one that like did everything on his own. He's figuring it all out, and that's a lot harder. But he's doing it, and I found that school has everything there for you. I got the professors there, and there's a lot of knowledge to be shared, and I think that was a big one for me. Experiences, I think an experience I had going to school, I used a lot of my work from a trip to Mexico I went to And I guess I'll show you some of that work that I ended up
Yes.
using. But that was the first time I ever actually went to Mexico to, I mean, to see my family. Usually that's what we do every so
Hmm.
often, every like 2 to 3 years or something like that. And before, I think when I was younger, I just like I didn't really understand it. But I think 2015 is when I like, okay, I'm going to actually take photos of my family.
Hmm.
And I started realizing how these things, they're not here forever. And just like your school experience is not forever. And whew, I miss that.
Yeah.
But so in school, I reworked these portraits I took of some family members in Mexico. Um, I got to talk to them, speak with them, learn from them, just
And
spending
then,
time with them, really. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry,
and
my
then,
bad. Go
sorry,
for it.
I was gonna say for the person that's in the Zoom call, I don't know if you want to screen share it real quick.
I tried, but it wasn't working.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay, no
But
worries.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
Um, I think I
Zachary
can,
Cartwright.
yeah, let me try to see. I can share your screen. Oh, I can only share my screen, not yours.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right. No worries. But yeah, IG Live, you guys got dibs on the look. Sorry, Zoom. Thought we could. But
Yeah.
basically, yeah, I reworked these images um, to have a little bit of my, I guess, connecting the people to the place of like where my family is from. There was, you know, I got to see pyramids. I got to see these old religious like places and the people too. I mean, this one is a little bit different, but these two right here are like direct relative, my parents and my brother,
Hmm.
versus like, extended family and Mexico photographs.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I really wanted to make a conscious effort into making pieces about them, where they're from, and myself, because it
Yeah.
was it was pretty important to me. Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, I think you showcased some of these in a gallery show, right?
Yeah, I did. I showcased uh, two of my aunts, two aunties that I photographed. Those two pieces, I'll pull those up again. These two right here. Oh, that's my face. These two right over there
Yeah.
were presented at the Honolulu Museum of Art School here in Honolulu, Hawaii. And that was at what is it, the 92nd annual printmakers exhibition. I think it was
I
92nd
think so.
last year, 2019. But yeah, that was a fun exhibition to be a part of, and you know, I was pretty stoked on that. Um, yeah, it was amazing. My experiences from getting to travel and then reworking these images into there, because I thought they were just gonna be photographic, like just silver gelatin. And then we were learning all this stuff, and I was like, yo, why don't I just rework these images? Because if not, they're just gonna be sitting, and I feel like there's more I can do with them, and I did.
Hmm.
And that's what I learned from school. There's much more to be done, and you can just keep reworking them. And I thought that was an amazing experience.
Yeah, I agree. And so we're gonna segue into the next question, and I think you're kind of answering it a little bit more, but if you want to go more into it, is what do you feel that school prepared you for?
Oh, what did school prepare me for? School prepared me for. Uh, Let me go back to the script real quick.
I think
Sorry.
in the script you said to be serious about your art.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess I think this could help a lot of people out. This question could help a lot of people out when they um, get asked that question. Like when people like, oh, what do you do? What are you going to school for? Or like, oh,
Hmm.
what's your occupation? People say artist, or I'm going to school for art. I think
Hmm.
school prepared me to like answer that question with a lot more confidence now. I think nowadays I don't even get the response with like, oh, well, what kind of job do you do for that? You know, or like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, how's that, you know, what work are you gonna find in that? I think now it's
Hmm.
just like people don't even ask me that question anymore. I'm so serious. I think the responses I give is just uh, it helps you build confidence
Yeah.
in what you do, and you take your work more seriously. It prepared me to like not be afraid to like um, be like, this is how much I'm worth, or like I'm not gonna do that. Like my time is so much more valuable now, and
Hmm.
I really love what I'm doing. Every piece that I make I put a lot of thought and effort into it. I spent a lot of time and I spent a lot of money to do this stuff. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, it makes you pretty serious about your work, you know. So I think I don't think I take school for granted. I really miss it.
Yeah, definitely. And then an opposing question is, what did school not prepare you for?
Oh, school did not prepare me for a lot of things. Nah, just kidding. I can't really think of anything that it didn't prepare me for. It was a really hard question when I was like thinking about this.
Hmm.
But basically, I came up with like being alone, um, school, yeah, like I was mentioned before, in school, you have a bunch of people, professors and peers, faculty, staff that are all there, you know, helping you out through your academic journey and your
Yeah.
art and whatever field you're in studying, you know. But after that, it's like, what is there? Like, I mean, you can go out and find a job, and hopefully you find a job or a career path where you are still surrounded by that many people. But if not, it's
Hmm.
your responsibility to be a part of those communities, and that can be difficult, you know, depending on what you end up doing after school. But in the end, it's like really just you. You're just you, hard at work, finding your own studio space and making it happen. And fortunately, I'm living with like artists as well, so I get to still be a part of that. But the
Hmm.
whole idea of like being a part of like in that setting, in that environment, man, that's an amazing feeling. But yeah, school is that's what school is though. So you're not really they don't teach you like, hey, so you're gonna be alone after this. So um, this is how you keep your motivational juices flowing. So no, that's not how it goes. So
Yeah, they never do. I think the one thing a professor told me was like you have to be able to motivate yourself without people around. And I remember when I was still in school, I was like, oh, like how am I going to do that? And it's just like it's a lot of like hard work and you persuading yourself to do it, but it's really hard and very lonely sometimes.
yeah,
Yeah.
we can say that
So
again.
yeah. So now we get to the art. So you can share what art you're comfortable talking about.
I guess I'm comfortable talking about with my BFA piece,
Mm-hmm.
which is online. My, um, I guess, at the University of Hawaii at Manoa for the Bachelor's in Fine Arts, we do an exhibition for those that are in that program, and there's only a select few. So uh, I was a part of that. We didn't get to present, but we all figured out a way most of us figured out a way to get online um, due to the pandemic and make a little exhibition online. So I can present that to you. It's actually
Yeah.
part of the piece is right behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a big one, so I can't really go that far. But
Yeah. If you want, you can
here,
flip
let me
the
stand
camera
up
over
and
and
I'll
yeah.
turn around. But I think in the
Perfect.
Zoom meeting, you guys can see it if I get out the way.
Just
But
moving the chair.
no, let me move the chair. Sorry. All right. So the piece.
So amazing.
This was supposed to be one. There's three of them. That was another big piece that was supposed to happen, and another one right there. And these are pretty larger than life, really. Like her head is bigger than my head. Yeah. But I made a piece on my family, like I always do. Most of my work is typically my family. And I always done it on the older generation, and like my aunties and uncles, but I never thought about doing it with um, my siblings. And I had a
Mm-hmm.
conversation with one of my peers at school. One late night, we were working on our projects, it was midnight or something like that, and I was having a block. And big shout out to Jaron. He helped me out. He was like, we were talking story, and boom, he was like, "What about your sister?" I'm like, "Oh, that's a good idea." So my first piece was my sister, and then I got two more light tables, and I was like, "I'm gonna do my brother and me." And but everything's online. I don't think I have anything online for it to show, but it's there on the website. We can link if anyone's interested. We can link it. But yeah, I decided to do it on my connection between me and my siblings, because I always focused on my relatives that are in Mexico and the place, the roots, and everything. But
Mm-hmm.
I was completely ignoring my brother and sister, and it was so funny because I just always thought of them as my brother and sister, like not really anything else. But once I started photographing these things, or started digging up these old photographs of my parents had of them before I was even born, it was so
Mm-hmm.
funny. I was like looking at them, they're just wacky and silly. Like you can see in some of the pieces, like it looks like my sister's sticking like the middle finger right over there, but it's not her
Mm-hmm.
middle finger. But she's like has like a freaking crazy ass face. And you know, and this is another part of her life right over here where she was in Iraq um, when she was a Marine at the age of 18 years old, which is really weird because you go from that wacky little rock and roll girl to like a Marine, and
Mm-hmm.
then this is her in high school. Like, look at that necklace. uh, and then that's her when she was a baby. That was before I was
Mm-hmm.
born. And it was what I found though was like that they're like human beings, and like what they went through and what they go through now, it's a lot different than what I go through, and they're pretty human.
Yeah.
And you'd think like, oh duh, Eric, like everyone's human, like you don't recognize that. I do, but it was different for my brother and my sister. It's because they were always there, they're just, well, growing up they were here. I remember
Mm-hmm.
seeing them. But for a certain point, when my sister went to the Marines and my brother was in California for most half my life, they were so far away, so I was just like, they're my brother and my sister. But I never really, as in a conscious adult being, I guess, like, I never really spent time with them. And so that was
Yeah.
me kind of diving into like, how can I connect with them? It was through cell phone calls or text messages,
Mm-hmm.
or just looking back at like these photographs. And that was me connecting to them, looking at them. And so I decided to make work based on the stuff that I would find,
Mm-hmm.
and how I configured them was a code that I ran through in my mind of our stories together. Um, and the manipulation that I did was kind of like coding stuff that they were going through individually. Um, and it was pretty, I mean, you can see it and be like, oh, it's just a big jumble of mess. Like I've had people talk to me and they were like, this looks like a complete mess. Um, you can even see the comments in the website. You know, a lot of people were cheering me on, but there was one person that was like, yeah, this is whack.
Oh, I think I
But
remember that comment. I saw it.
I completely understand where he's coming from, though. It wasn't like, yeah, I took it to heart, but at the same time, I could kind of see objectively, yeah, this looks like a wild mess. But I think this is really personal. My work is really personal, and most of the time, only I could really decode it. Um, but I think that's what makes it mine. You know, it's my work,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to do what I want to do with it. And I made it huge too, like um, and the backlit, I made it on light tables because it was kind of mirroring like how we connected with each other. I guess I'm explaining a little bit like
Yeah, go
what
for
it's
it.
about, and how like the physical representation connects to um, the metaphorical's representation. But
Yeah.
we look at our phones, it's backlit. Usually artwork
Mm-hmm.
is presented in a gallery, you have light shining on it. but I wanted to do where the light was shining behind it, similar to how I see a phone and I'm looking at a text message and I'm talking to my sister or my brother,
Yeah.
or FaceTiming them, you know what I mean? But then incorporating these images because I didn't get to photograph them,
Mm-hmm.
they were so far away. Um, and so I had to use with what I had, and what I had was this stuff that they left behind. I think the image of my sister as a Marine, that one she brought or she sent to us when she was out there. And it's just piled up in the family archive. So this is what I had. And yeah, I think that's basically this project right here. It's a big ode to my brother and my sister. Even though we weren't like physically close or really brother and sister, I think I was trying to show them that I still do care about them, and I think they're
Yeah.
important to me. And so I spend a lot of time taking care of this.
Yeah, I think they're wonderful pieces. And if you want, while you answer the second question, if you can do like a close up of the images, that way people that are on
Oh
Instagram
yeah.
Live can see them. So if you want to talk about how long it took to complete the process.
This took about 6 months, but it was
Mm-hmm.
I've seen these images before throughout my life. Like I'll go back
Mm-hmm.
every now and then and look through the family photos. I'm sure like everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people, they'll have some kind of like stash of photographs in a shoebox or something like that. And when a girlfriend or boyfriend comes over, some kind of significant other comes over, mom brings them out, shows them, embarrasses everybody, and
Yeah.
but I tend to just go ahead without any significant other and just embarrass myself and look at all our old photos, you know. But here I'm embarrassing my brother and my sister, I guess. But yeah, I think I think it takes a long time for me to do things. This one took 6 months. Of course, I was expedited because we had a deadline. We had to present stuff
Mm-hmm.
at a certain time. So this one was definitely, I wouldn't say a rush, but it came out, I think it came out good. Um, but it usually takes me a long time because I let personal experiences dictate my work.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't too sure. I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do at the time, but with the help of my peers, we figured it out. And yeah, so I think like for the work that I showed earlier with my aunties and uncles, that one started from 2015. I shot those photographs in 2015, but I didn't rework them till like 2018 and
Yeah.
rework them in 19. So these things take a long time to like manifest, and that's my process. And I think there's no real other way I would ever present work without that process. Yeah, I couldn't do it without the
Cool. I was
time,
gonna
but
say
yeah.
the person in the Zoom meeting was just looking at your back the whole time.
Oh, I'm
Sorry.
so sorry, Zoom guy. Was that just one
Yeah,
person in it? I think I know who that is.
I
That's
think it's this
Zachary.
person.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, sorry about that.
sorry, Zach. He's on IG Live too, though.
Okay, cool. Um, yes, so the,
Excited.
the following question would be if what new projects are you working on at the moment?
What new projects I'm working on at the moment would probably be reading books leisurely.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just kidding. Um, I'm not really working on anything too big, not as big as this or anything like that. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not like making any prints or anything like that. But I am working on digitizing family photos, um, family
Mm-hmm.
photos and videos too. Actually, I want to start doing it because I spend a lot of time at work, and we do that at work. We like a lot of people come in and they're like, "Can you digitize all these family photographs?" They'll bring like a ton in, and we're just like, "Oh crap!" But we get them done. And I was like, I met someone recently, and she was showing me some photographs of like her, I think, grandfather. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, this photo looks so nice. It was really old. Like you could tell, like, it was just one of those old photographs. probably shot on large format or something like that. And large format is like an old, like 1800s style photography. Um,
Yeah.
but I was like, this is so clean. She was like, oh yeah, my dad digitized, like he scanned all our family photographs and has it like on a Google Drive, for the whole family to see. You know, everyone's invited to that file or this folder on Google Drive. And I was like, bro, why don't I do that? FYI, if you're a student at UH Manoa, I think a lot of universities have this. You have kind of, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but unlimited space on Google Drive. So that's another
Oh.
perk
Oh, that's
experience
right.
about school. So if you opt in to keeping your email, you also can opt in for that Google Drive space. So I kind of want to use that. And so that way I want to also do what like her father did, scan everything. And so I can show it to like my whole family and everyone can just, you know, download those images, print them out at their local print shop and have them, you know? So it's like, it's not like a project, but
Yeah.
it's a project. It's going to take a long time, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then we're almost done with the questions, and then the audience can ask is, how are you taking care of yourself physically and emotionally during this time?
I am reading a lot. Um, right now I'm reading a book called The Tao of the Wu, which is a book written by the RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan's hip hop.
Oh,
And I
cool.
think I didn't mention this in my inspirations, but yeah, hip hop has been a huge inspiration to me. Um, but yeah, reading, surfing every now and then. I get to surf this week, but it's, you know, spending time with my roommates, doing things I couldn't really do while I was in school. Um, trying to take care of that, get ready, save up some money for like for all my pay everything back. Got to pay the government back for all my
Yes.
schooling. So that's really nice.
Yeah.
But it's fun though. I work at a place that's like I love what I'm doing. I do exactly what I do like with this project, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's really nice. But other than that, just I'm having a good time. Still making work, still having ideas, helping others. I think the biggest like I guess pleasure I get is just helping others with anything that I know. You know, I think a lot of people come into work and they're like, "Yo, how do I do this? How do I double expose?" I'm like, "Well, you
Right.
do this," and they get all stoked, and I love it. And for me, that's like huge satisfaction because I went to school for this. Like, why can't I help people? I can.
Right. Yeah. It's you're already giving back to the community.
Yeah.
And so the last question that I have for you before the audience gets to ask is, do you have any advice you would like to give to artists?
Oh, advice that I want to give to artists. What advice would I want to give to artists? I'd say, I wrote this down. Stay in school, eat your vegetables, but more importantly, get scholarships and grants. There's a lot out there. I think
Yes.
even during this time of the pandemic and everything, scholarships and grants are super essential. I did get some grants, but I wish I applied a little bit more effort into like doing scholarships,
Mm-hmm.
because it helps out immensely, like so much. It would be a lot less stress on your shoulders at the end of it all. Um,
Yes, definitely.
and you can use that time like, and then I'm also going to say manage your time very well. So if you manage your time ahead of time, you'll be more free later on to do a little bit more that you're interested in doing. Um, yeah, but like manage your time as if your life depends on it. And everyone out there that's 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, like that's super important because I mean, I was talking to my neighbor earlier before we even started this whole stuff, and he's like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
if I could go back in time, I would do this instead and go this route and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Don't get me wrong, like you don't want to live life in regrets, but dude, manage your time and you won't regret it. But
Yeah. Amen.
anyways, yeah, get connected with others. I mean, this is me and Brenda getting connected right over here. If you guys want to get connected to me or Brenda, reach out to us. It's super important to like do stuff with other people, because that's one thing I got to learn
Yes.
in school, was working with others, collaborating. Also being able to do things on your own is super important too. I think that's probably bottom line. You got to do that. But getting connected, and whether it's online or in person, reaching out to other people is probably the best thing you could ever do. But a lot of people say like, oh, this sounds really fake, doing everything online. I'm like, yeah, well, it's how you see it, how the door swings. It's, you know,
Mm-hmm.
how are you gonna look at it? How are you gonna use it to your benefit? But yeah, move forward, evolve your art, don't stay stagnant. All stuff that you learn as you make art, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome advice, awesome answers. And so from here, we get to ask the audience if they have any other questions, and we can just give it a minute to see who has anything to say or not.
Yeah. If not, you can ask me questions. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
I'll
see if
ask you some,
anyone
but
has
let's
any
see if
questions.
anybody. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good. We're doing good on time too, so it's all good.
One more time for the people in the back. Okay.
Oh, you're looking at the comments.
Yeah, I'm just seeing if looking at.
Oh, here we go. So, plant-based asked, what is a fond memory that you share with your sister?
Oh, that's a
Good
good
question. Thank
question.
you.
Um, Fond memory would probably be actually plant-based, sorry, SD. That's my good friend Kaylee. I actually went to go visit that person who just asked that question. I went to go visit them in San Diego,
Oh,
and
nice.
during that time I went to go visit, I was spent some time in different parts of California, one
Hmm.
being with my sister,
Oh,
and
cool.
we were talking story, and it was like one of the first trips. Like, I think that trip I went to Texas, went to California, and I spent a lot of time in California, but I spent it with like very important people, that I didn't ever really get a chance to, because everyone would always just come to Hawaii and visit me, and I was like, I want to
Right.
do that. So I went out there. I got to spend time with my brother and my sister. But I think that's probably like the most fondest memory I had of my sister, because we were out for a drive in Long Beach, and we were just kind of talking story. We got a little bit personal too. Like, most of the time we'll talk about like our family issues or anything like that. But at
Hmm.
that time we were just talking about our own personal like stories and stuff like that. I think,
Oh, nice.
well, like, yeah, I remember we were talking about drinking and drugs and stuff like that, which was strange for me because like I never talked to any family members about that, and that was really interesting. I was scared too because, like, it's my sister. She's gonna tell mom. But that was really nice. I think that was really nice, um, and I had a good time, and that was nice. Yeah, I think there's other fond memories too. Like when we were younger, like I remember her playing guitar. Oh, okay, one more fond memory.
Yeah, yeah, go
Um,
for it. Go for it.
um, I remember seeing my sister playing a band for high school. Like, she was in
Oh,
a
wow.
freaking band, and they play like a Beatles song at the Waikiki Shell, which is like an
Mm-hmm.
amphitheater. If for those that are not from our island or from Hawaii, there's an amphitheater called the Waikiki Shell where like huge
Mm-hmm.
like artists come down and play. And she got to play there for like this high school band like show. It's called Brown Bags of Stardom. I don't know if
Right.
anyone's ever heard. I don't think they do that anymore, but that was a huge thing back in the '90s and new millennium. But yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like my sister just jamming on the bass guitar, slapping the bass.
Slap in the face. Nice. Oh, wow, those are really good memories.
Yeah,
Let's
that
see
was
if
pretty cool.
anybody else has any other questions. That's all. I didn't know that your sister was in a band. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, yeah, she was totally rock and roll. And then, man, I'm really trying to get her to play like music again. Oh, Shampaku
Question.
says, how have you been cultivating your creativity in recent months? Ooh.
Good
It's a good one.
questions.
Why you guys
Awesome.
make this hard for me? Um,
Keep asking them hard questions. These are good.
um, I think spending time. So since after school, I moved out of my parents' house and I'm living with some roommates now. Big shout out to them. They're at UH Manoa studying art as well. Um, I spent about once a week, at least once a week, at my parents' house, and I go to the farm. Like today, I went to the farm with my dad. Just small things. We didn't do much. Last week was the same thing. We just went down, grabbed bananas, came
Hmm.
home. That's about it. But I think doing stuff like that brings me back to like my art, and then reaching out to other people, new and familiar, foreign and familiar people,
Hmm.
and talking art and doing stuff art related helps me like really start. It's like it brews. It's like a pot of like art
Yeah.
stuff, and it like brews and it starts making stuff, and we're making things along the way. I wouldn't have thought about digitizing all my family photos for like the family to see if I hadn't met that person. Like that would have
Hmm.
never crossed my mind. I just would have
Yeah.
made it for my art. Would have just made it for
Hmm.
this stuff right here, rather than like sharing it amongst the family. It's photos of the family. Why not? So I think, yeah, reaching out to people, still being in my like sticking to my own like roots. And when I say roots, I mean like not just my cultural roots, but like the reason why I even started this all and like what my art is about. Like it's about my family usually. So constantly doing stuff and spending time with my family, I think keeps my juices flowing.
Awesome.
Um, do I have any projects in the works? Not right now. I think I mentioned this earlier with the last question and the other question. I was just like, I don't really have anything except digitizing like all my family photos and videos
Hmm.
too. But that's like I'm just in the beginning process to doing that, and that's gonna take forever. But yeah, thanks for those questions, Lisa Underwater. Hope your double exposures are doing great. Champaco, thank you very much. Hope you're doing well in New York. Um,
Aw, nice. And then
yeah.
before we have, I think we have time for like few, like two, three more questions, but I actually have a question for you. So I think I asked you this when we were prepping for it, is would you consider doing art about family therapeutic?
Oh, family therapy. Hmm. I suppose, but that sounds pretty daunting and scary. Like I think about my personal experiences with therapy and family, and they don't go so hot. But
Hmm.
for me, like my art is kind of like a therapy. I remember in one of our classes, I had a teacher say like, "Don't say that shit," but that was because we were talking about art in the professional practice, and
Oh,
like we were talking about, she didn't, I don't think she meant it in a bad way, like if it's
yeah.
therapeutic then by all means do it. Like now she was like, don't do it for therapy, but as a business mindset,
Hmm.
you that's when I realized I need to take my art seriously and not just look at it as a business, not just for refreshing my soul or anything like that.
Right.
Like I still do it because it refreshes my soul,
Hmm.
but there's also another side of it. But I do think about it, but I don't know how I could ever make it therapeutic without like having an artist talk, and inspiring people or anything
Right.
like that. But I think there's people that do like, I don't know. I mean, shooting in general with like, for example, like you do a couple shoot or you do a shoot with like a family or anything like that. Sometimes it can be
Hmm.
therapeutic because you're in photography when you bring a family together. I think when I've shot my own family, like when my brother first came back to Hawaii after 15 years, I had my mom and my dad and my brother sit on a bench outside the house, and
Hmm.
I was trying to photograph them, but it was weird. My dad likes to say a bunch of weird crap, so like, it just kind of kills the vibe. But bringing
Yeah.
the family together for a photograph whether it's, you know, a family that you don't know or your own family, it's you're bringing them together for a picture, but there's like a lot more than that, I think, that
Yeah.
happens, you know, because like for the most part, families go about their business like any other day, but then there's a moment where they come together to take a picture that's probably going to last forever. You know, I mean, I'm looking at photographs from the 80s and the 90s, you know, and that's like forever ago, you know.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, that's a pretty long time. And even then, like, I'm like, my mother's like sending me pictures of like them when they were like freaking younger than me, like they were 18, 16, 14 years old. And, you know, I'm putting them as my wallpaper on my phone so I can see them like this, you know. It's
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
Nice. And then I think that wasn't a question, but they say that they miss you.
Oh, Jaren, not a question, but I miss you major, Eric. You and everyone. Yeah, I feel the same way. We got cut short
Yeah.
on our academic journey, and I feel really, you know, I feel for the people that are in school now, and, you know, that to start off like this, but yeah, it's pretty insane. Archiving the history, you know it, Nathan. Nathan's a good friend of mine. He's he's from Oahu, and he's from the West Side. West Side, you sucker. But he's very rooted in his culture as well. Um, he appreciates it. I think he probably appreciate family more than I do. But yeah, big shout out to Nathan.
Cool. And I don't know if anybody wants to ask any other questions. Let's see.
Nathan, ask me a question.
I don't know if your Instagram live's gonna cut you off. I'm scared.
Yeah, I mean, if my Instagram live gets cut off, I'm sorry, everyone. I'm just gonna say my bye now. Bye. Yeah. Hey, Kiki.
Kiki.
But yeah, right now we're in the Q&A part, so if anyone wants to ask any questions, by all means.
Kiki, you don't want to ask a question? There's not a
Ask
specific
a
question
question,
on your
Kiki.
mind? Yeah, come on. Kiki can be the last one. Let's wait. I want Kiki to ask a question.
Nathan, Paige, Kiki, Jaren,
Yeah.
any of you suckers.
We're waiting. Because I know Kiki was part of, the group that had to get cut off COVID. Was Jaren also?
Jaren, yeah. Jaren was also part of that. He was in the BFA program with me. So, yeah, we both got cut off.
There you go. Another
Oh,
question.
do you see any connection with skating and you and your photography? Yeah, hardcore. For one, biggest reason why photography and skating goes well is because one day you're gonna get old and you won't be able to skate really anymore, and all you're gonna have is these old stories that the kids are gonna be like, "Oh, shut up, Grandpa! You didn't do a kickflip." So you gotta
Yeah.
have the photographs of you like being able to kickflip or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's probably the biggest reason why photography and skating can go really well together, and also too, documenting the whole culture, because skating is a huge culture, and I think I talked to like Brian Silva about it the most and Nigel, a big shout out to Nigel. Just had a conversation with him. Oh, talking about new projects, I do have another one with Nigel.
Perfect.
We were talking about skating, and he was saying, he was talking about how he had all these magazines, and in these skate magazines, which is something that they don't really produce anymore, or that the kids aren't really like, really absorbed into it, because that was our media. Now the media is these short clips on Instagram and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
like the magazines had all these photographs in skateboarding, and like not just people doing tricks and stuff like that, but talking about apparel, which I know, Nathan, you're huge on. So yeah, huge connection between photography and skateboarding.
Cool.
But
And then I think that last
someone else had a
question
question.
is, do when your projects don't come out the way you want it? And I think that'll be the last question because I think my phone's gonna die,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Last question. What do you do when your project don't come out the way you want it? um, I think if that's usually the case, I don't think I've ever went through with a project and be like, dude, this is how I thought about it in my head. It's done. I'm the greatest. You know, it's usually like this ain't done. You know, this ain't done. What else can I do with it? Or how do I make it look like this? Instead of like trying to create what I saw in my head, I just run with the imperfections that like I get. Like if I
Yeah.
get something, I'll just run with it and I'll change it up according to what actually came out. And be like, oh, like I think when this came out, I had these are 4 pieces of paper that I had, you know, and they didn't line up correctly. But then I
Yeah.
was like, you know what, that's fine. And I started tearing some. I think me and Brenda were talking about this when
Yeah.
I was actually making it. I started tearing some and I started liking how it's fucked up. Sorry, excuse my French, but like
No, it's good.
most of the imagery is all fucked up. I did that on purpose. I fucked it up. But then I don't know why I was like trying to line it up perfectly
Yeah.
because that's probably really dumb because this whole thing is fucked up. Why don't I just fuck it up some more? And so I
Exactly.
did that and I just ran with the stuff. Oh, okay. Oh, we got more questions. Oh, but you know what? I think Brenda got disconnected or something. But okay. You said you'll be doing videos, so we'll gotcha. And you're getting cut off too, so be careful. Okay, so will it be photos or personal videos that was captured growing up? It's gonna be both. Um, Kiki, it'll be both. I have old VHS of the family and photographs of the family, so I'm gonna have a combination of both. I gotta figure out how to do the video, but um, I'm gonna figure that out. But yeah, I'm gonna have photos and videos. Yeah. Yeah, so you're gonna see little baby Eric doing his thing somewhere. I'll probably have some on Instagram too. I'll probably make a little project with the videos too. But yeah, hopefully I'm looking fly. So I don't know. I think my mom used to dress me pretty fly. I hated it though because I look too proper and stuff like that. I was just like, I think she dressed me up in polos way before Kanye was doing that. I think I have like a picture with like Doc Martens on. I think I remember wearing Doc Martens when I was a kid too. Like it was, I hated that shit. Um, I don't know. It's because I look really different from the kids. So I was like, yeah, I don't want to look like different. I was already looking different. You know, everyone in my elementary school was like Asian, and I was just like this little hairy monkey kid. So, but yeah. Any other questions, anybody? Because it says I have a minute and 30 seconds remaining.
1 more minute.
Get your last questions in.
I think I saw Sam comment something up. I didn't
Oh
get
yeah,
to
I
say
know what she said.
pros.
Here, let me say it. I'm gonna say it just like her. On another note, Brenda, your earrings are fly as fuck.
Oh my god. I just saw it. Thank you, Sam. I'll send the link as to the artist is.
Yeah, I'm proud of you too, Kiki.
Love you, Kiki.
Yeah, Sam. Okay. Oh, Sam.
Alrighty. I think we're good if you want to save
Yeah.
the art. We're good. Thank you everybody for
Bye, everybody.
echo.
What's up, y'all? What's up, Kiki? Yeah. This is Eric live after hours. What's up, motherfuckers? Oh shoot, Brendan's right over there on the Zoom. Bye, guys.